Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Nilanjana Sarkar from Nelly's Creation and welcome to my next video. In today's video, I'm going to teach you how to write an analytical paragraph which is there in your CBSE grade 10th curriculum. A lot of you are really frightened to attempt this question and I have got many queries about how to write an analytical paragraph, and in this video I'm going to help you to solve this question. Do keep watching this video till the end and do not skip any part of this video because you may miss out something really important. And at the same time, as I am doing the video, please do take notes so that you can remember what I have said and follow the steps diligently. So here we go. What is an analytical paragraph? In an analytical paragraph, you will be given a certain kind of data. Now this data can be in the form of a pie chart, it can be in the form of a line graph, it can be in a tabular form, in fact it can be a graphical representation of any kind of data. Now what you need to do? You need to read and analyze this data carefully so that you understand the trends, the significant details of the graph and write a paragraph based on that. That's all you have to do. So how do you actually go about? And yes, if you follow the steps properly, it is actually not difficult to score good marks in your analytical paragraph. Okay? So the first thing that you need to do is read and understand the graph. This is a very, very basic thing. So the second thing that you need to do is identify the trends. This is very, very important. What I mean by trends is, for example, if you're given a graph, for example, the production of crops over a certain period of time. Now, what are the trends that you can locate in this kind of a graph? Maybe in a particular year, there is a subsequent increase in production. For example, in the year 1990s, there's a subsequent increase in the production of rice or wheat. So that is a trend. Similarly, in a certain year, if there's a decrease in production, that can also be a trend. So these are the trends that you need to locate and identify, which has to be included in your paragraph. The third and the most important thing is compare and contrast. By compare and contrast, what I mean is, in case if you're talking about the increase in production, at the same time, you also need to mention about the decrease in production or vice versa. This is what is meant by compare and contrast. So if you can follow these three things, you can easily frame an analytical paragraph. And yes, in an analytical paragraph, you don't need to give a title. You are not writing a story, so avoid giving any kind of title. The form, the content has to be clear, crisp and to the point. Maintain the word limit, which is usually 150 to 200 words. Also use expression which is correct, accurate, and also be very specific with your grammar. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to give you an example of an analytical paragraph and we are going to write a paragraph after this. So keep watching.
This is the question that we have today. Observe the given figure correctly. It shows 1 week's sales figures of cars, different companies in percentage. So all of you can see that here is a pie chart and we have the sales of various companies like Tata Motors, Maruti, Hyundai, Toyota, Ferrari, Lamborghini and so on. So in this pie chart, we can see that each company has a different percentage of sales and we need to analyze the data and write a paragraph on that. All right, so how do we begin? First of all, we need to follow the same directions that I have discussed in the first part of the video. This is how we begin. The first thing that we have to write is the introduction. The introduction is also called the topic sentence. You need to introduce the topic to the examiner, that what is the chart all about. So here it is already clear that this pie chart is about the percentage of cars sold by different car companies, and that is what you're going to write in the first line itself. Remember that if you are having a doubt in framing the first sentence, you can also directly pick it up from the question, because this data, this statement will already be there in your question. The sales is divided and each car manufacturing company has a different percentage of sale, which means that all the car companies which are listed over here, they have different sales figures. Okay, so this is all about the topic sentence. There is nothing more that you have to write, and of course it is really easy if you follow this pattern. After this, we come to the body. Now in the body, there will be any 2 points of comparison or any 2 points of contrast with evidence. Evidence means the data, means whatever you are comparing, it has to be matched with an evidence. So in the body, we are going to write that it is evident that consumers are more keen on buying cars that are affordable and pocket-friendly. Luxury and high-end cars are chosen by few people. What does this mean? Luxury and high-end cars, it means that obviously we are referring to the Ferrari and the Lamborghini. These are very expensive, extremely expensive cars. So definitely this would not be preferred by the majority of people. So the majority of people would go for Tata Motors. Tata Motors is a reputed brand and it is known for competitive prices, which is affordable by most of the people. So the data also reveals the same thing, that 50% of people buy the Tata Motors car. So now you have written the first statement in the body and then you will match it with the figure. Means you are going to give the evidence. The percentage of sale of Tata Motors is 50%, which is the highest. On the contrary means, on the other hand, Ferrari and Lamborghini has the lowest percentage, which is 2% and 3% respectively. The other car companies like Maruti and Hyundai have similar sales figures as revealed by the data provided, with minor differences. This means that Hyundai and Maruti, they don't have a very noticeable difference, because Maruti, the figure of Maruti is 20% and the sales of Hyundai is 15%. Means it's a very little difference between these two car companies. So now whatever I have stated, I am again giving the evidence. The sale of Maruti stands at 20%, whereas the sale of Hyundai is 15%. That's all. Means what did I do over here? I have compared and I've also contrasted. What did I compare? I compared that Maruti and Hyundai, they have similar sales figures. That is the similarity. And the difference or the contrast that I have projected over here is Tata Motors has the highest sales, whereas the Ferrari and Lamborghini has very, very low percentage of sales. So that is all about the body of the paragraph. Now the conclusion. What do we have to write here? We need to connect it to the topic sentence. Remember what is our topic sentence? Our topic sentence was that this is the chart which is suggesting the percentage of cars sold by different auto companies. And in the conclusion also, I would again connect it to this and I would say, in other words, the data depicts that cost of the vehicle is a deciding factor when it comes to choice of cars. The striking difference in the figures also illustrate that consumers prefer to opt for Tata Motors mainly when it comes to buying a car. So that brings to the end of the paragraph. And at the end, I mentioned that Tata Motors is the main choice of people when it comes to buying of cars as per the data which is provided. Remember, I'm not giving any personal opinion. I'm just giving a perspective depending on the data which is provided. All right. Now, what you need to also take care of is the certain phrases that you can see or the certain words which are highlighted in red. When you write an analytical paragraph, you also need to keep in mind these phrases and words which will give an idea to the examiner that you have understood the passage. So the first thing, the given chart suggest. Suggest is highlighted in red, so you can use a similar word like suggest, which is also depicts, illustrates, etc. Next is, it is evident. It is evident is again a very advanced form of phrase, and if you write this kind of a phrase in the beginning of the statement, it is shown that you have understood. When you are writing a difference, you can write on the contrary. See, I have also highlighted on the contrary. Again, in red, I have highlighted this. Instead of on the contrary, you can also write on the other hand. And at the end, yes, one more, whereas. Whereas is again a conjunction which is used to show a kind of a striking difference. Means it's like a linking word. In conclusion, I'm writing in other words. In other words means I'm trying to specify the same thing but in a different way. The data depicts the striking difference. Again, the striking difference means that what is the main point of comparison in this particular graph. So this is the way that you have to attempt an analytical paragraph. Remember that tense should be same throughout. Nowhere you will shift from present to past, past to present, and try to write in a clear, crisp, accurate manner. And this is how you can actually nail and get full marks in your analytical paragraph. My dear students, even though I have explained the writing of the paragraph by differentiating between the introduction, body and conclusion, remember one single thing, that the entire paragraph has to be written in one single paragraph. Again, I repeat that the board has specified you need to maintain one single paragraph, so do not change paragraphs. Second, and very important, we need to use comparison and contrast words. I already showed you the highlighted words. Here I am again specifying that these words needs to be there in your paragraph. Obviously not all, but at least 5 to 6, like in comparison to, on the contrary, however, whereas, as opposed to, a striking difference. When you are emphasizing, you have to write words like especially, specifically, to emphasize, to demonstrate, such as, and similar words like this. Why? Because the examiner wants to see that whether you are able to justify your opinion or not, you're able to emphasize the data and fact in the paragraph. This is what you're going to be evaluated about. Now that you have understood about analytical paragraph, let me ask you a quick question. Do you think that analytical writing skill is important? Do you need to learn this writing skill? Or what is the purpose of analytical writing? Of course, I have said in the beginning that this will test your analytical, your research skills. But I would like to hear from you. Why are we learning this writing skill? And can you name a few exams where this writing skill will be tested after your grade 10th? So I would be waiting for your answer. I hope all of you will give me this answer, because if you give this answer, you will realize the importance of this writing skill and you will take it up seriously. So that's all for this video. I hope you have understood the way you need to write an analytical paragraph. And if you think that this video is helpful, please do give it a like and share it with somebody who will benefit. And of course, those who are watching me for the first time, do not forget to subscribe to my channel. This is Nilanjana Sarkar, your English teacher, and I will be back with another video very soon. Thank you. Bye.